This is Math 6, Lesson 3-5, Evaluate Algebraic Expressions. In this lesson, you'll be able to evaluate algebraic expressions, including those with whole numbers, decimals, and fractions. Okay, let's look at solve and discuss it. A bike shop charges by the hour to rent a bike. Related items are rented for flat fees. Write an expression that represents how much it'll cost to rent a bike and helmet for 8 hours. How much would it cost to rent a bike and a helmet for 3 hours? Okay. Let's identify some important information. Okay, it charges by the hour. So every hour it will charge you. Look at the cost. Okay, bike is going to cost $12.5 per hour, $12.5. And then if you want to borrow the helmet, that's $5.25. One-time fee, lock is 1.75, basket is 2.25. Okay, how much would it cost to rent a bike and a helmet together for 3 hours? Right? So helmet is just a one-time fee. If you borrow it, you can just use it for however long you want to use it, right? And you have to use H for H hours, okay? So how can you gather data and use it to write some equations? We're gonna think about the costs and the time, right? You can write an algebraic expression with decimals in the same way you do with whole numbers. So we're gonna think about bike cost times how much time we rode, and then plus the helmet cost, okay? And so bike is $12.5 per hour. Number of hour, H for hour, okay, plus 5.25 for helmet. And so if he rode 3 hours, that means H, okay, this is the equation. That means H is 3 for 3 hours of bike riding and renting the helmet. So we have 12.5 times 3 plus 5.25. We multiply first. 37.5 plus 5.25 is equal to 42.75. So the total cost for him to ride the bike for 3 hours with the helmet would be how much? 42.75 cents. Okay? You're going to write an expression, you substitute 3 for H and evaluate the expression. Okay? Write an expression that represents renting a bike, a lock, and a basket for 8 hours. What is the cost of renting this equipment for 4 hours? Okay, now H is 4. What are we doing? Bike, and then this is 12.5 per hour, okay? A lock is how much? 1.75. This is one-time fee, right? And a basket, what's a basket? $2.25. Okay? So we're gonna say 12.5 times H plus 1.575 plus 2.25 will be our total cost. And we know that H is 4. So 12 times 5 times 4 plus, well, this is the equation and we're plugging in 4 for H. 1.75 plus 2.25 will be what? That would be 54. Is that right? That's 50. And then that's equivalent to 3 and 1, so that's 4. So 50 plus 4, which is $54. So it would cost $54 to rent a bag for 4 hours, a lock and a basket. Okay, first we'll write the correct expression, and then we're going to use the information given to figure out the total cost. This is what we're going to do in our lesson today. Let's look at the next page. So think about the question, how we can evaluate an algebraic expression throughout the lesson. Example 1, evaluating algebraic expressions with whole numbers. Eric collects miniature cars. He has one large case that has 20 cards. He also has 3 same size, smaller cases filled with cards. Okay, so each they have 20 cards, and he will have 3 of the same size, smaller cases filled with cards. Okay, no cards are missing. And we're going to let n be the number of cards in each smaller case. So n, 20 for 1 box. Okay, how many miniature cards does Eric have if each smaller case holds 10 cards, 12 cards, or 14 cards? Okay, follow the order of operations when you evaluate an expression. 20 plus 3n would represent the total number of cards that Eric has because he has 3 boxes, which means he has 3 times 20, and he has 1 more of 20 cards. Okay, or you can just do 4n, right? But are the small cases are going to have the same number of cards? No, he knows he has 20 cards for the bigger one, but for the smaller one, we don't know. So this represents for any number of n that could be in small boxes, okay? Any number of cards. So we are going to figure out how many cards he would have if each of them have 10 cards. Then you're going to plug in n is equal to 10. N is equal to 12 cards. N is equal to 14 cards. So 20 plus 3 times 10 would be your first answer, which is 20 plus 30. So 50 cards total if he has 10 cards total for each smaller box. What about 12 cards? 12 cards. 20 plus 3 times 12. So 20 plus 36 is 56, right? 56 total cards if he has 12 cards in the small box. What about 20 plus 3 times 14? If he has 14 miniature cards in each of the smaller boxes, then we have 42 plus 20, which is 62 cards total. Okay? So this is called substitution. And if n is equal to 10, we plug it into the expression 10 instead of n. That is called substitution. You substitute something for another one because they're equal to each other. Okay, so plugging those in, we can make a table as well, table of values. If n is 10, 20 plus 3n is 50. That's total cards. Okay, n is 12, total 56. If n is 14, total 62. Okay, let's do the same thing for try question. Evaluate the expression 50 minus t when t equals 10, 20, or 25. Then complete the table to show the values. So substitute 10, 20, 25 for t. What if t is equal to 10? Then substituting 10 instead of t, we have 50 minus 10, which is 40. Okay, so if t is equal to 10, the expression 50 minus t is 40. If t is equal to 20, you substitute 20 and you subtract 20 from 50, and that's 30. What about 25? Same thing. You subtract 25, you got 25 left. And putting in those values in the table, you can complete the table. What does it mean to use substitution to evaluate an algebraic expression? What does it mean? What is substitution actually doing? You're really replacing the variable, right, with the number. And then what? Perform the operation. Okay? So if t equals 10, perform the operation. Substitute and perform. T is equal to 20, substitute and perform. T equals 25, substitute and then perform the operation. Solve for it. Okay? For different t's. Example 2. Evaluate algebraic expressions with decimals. What if we have a decimal? Don't worry, it's gonna follow the same rule. Look at this example. Julie's family took a 4-day trip. Julie's mother wrote an equation to calculate their gas mileage, M in miles per gallon. Let D be the number of total miles driven on the trip. Let G equal the total number of gallons of gas used for the trip. Now we have more than one variables, right? So M, what was M again? M is miles per gallon. So it's the distance, right? Or it's how much miles you went. They went. Okay. D is the number of total miles driven on the trip. Okay. M is miles per gallon. So every gallon, they're going how many miles? And then G is equal to the total number of gallons of gas used for the trip. So if you have more gas, you can go more distance depending on how much gas you need to use, your car needs to use for every mile, right? So you can write an equation like M is equal to D over G, okay? M is miles per gallon. Then D is miles, G is in gallons, right? So the units make sense too. What was the gas mileage for the 4-day trip? Miles driven each day. Is that an M, D, or G? Miles driven each day. The total miles driven on the trip. So it's going to be part of D, okay? Part of these. Okay, these are going to be these. Gallons of gas used. Okay, these are parts of G, gallons, okay? And so you want to figure out the gas mileage, which is M for the 4-day trip. So plug in the total number. So you're gonna figure out the total number. You add all of them for this and that, okay? So 476 plus 439 plus 382 plus 263 is 1,560. 15 plus 13.5 plus 15.4 plus 16.1 is 26 gallons. So what do you do with those? Substitute into your equation. M is equal to D over G. That's going to be your total D. G is going to be your total gallons, right? So plug it in. 1560 over 26 gallons. Wait, is this gallon? No. Miles per gallon is going to be your mileage. And you can simplify. Can you divide 1560 by 26? Wait, is that 26? No, that's 60. I'm sorry. Okay. And so if you divide 1560 by 60, then you get 26. Okay, that's equal to 26 miles per gallon. So the gas mileage was 26 miles per gallon. All right, let's evaluate the expression 3.4 plus 12a divided by 4 for a equals 10. You substitute a equals 10 into this expression. So instead of a, you can substitute 10 and solve for it. 3.4 plus 12 times 10 divided by 4. What do? 3.4 and then multiplication and division, they're on the same level of order of operation, so you solve it from left to right. Multiplication, 12 times 10 is 120. And divided by 4. 30, okay? So 30 plus 3.4 is 33.4. And that is your final answer. Let's look at example 3. Evaluate algebraic expressions with fractions. Mr. Grant wants to tile a 27 square foot area with square tiles. Let S be the side length in feet of a square tile. Okay, note S is side length in feet. That's your S. Okay, use the expression 27 plus S squared to find the number of tiles Mr. Grant needs to buy. And you already have the information. S is going to be 1/3 feet. Substitute this for S into this expression. 27 divided by 1/3 square. Ooh, what do we do first? The order of operations says that you need to solve the powers first. So solve the powers. 27 divided by 1/3 square is really 27 divided by 1/3 times 1/3. Okay, so 27 divided by 1/9 is going to be your actual expression. You can divide 1/9 by multiplying 9, multiplying the reciprocal. Remember, if you want to change the division into multiplication, you can use the reciprocal. So 27 times 9 would be 243. He needs to buy 243 tiles. That's a lot of tiles. Let's look at try question. Suppose Mr. Grant decides to buy square tiles that have side lengths of 3/4 foot. How many of these tiles will he need to buy? So we're using the same equation or the expression 27 divided by S squared, but now S is 3/4 foot. Okay, so you're substituting 3/4 into S. So 27 divided by 3/4 squared is 27 divided by 3/4 times 3/4, right? So then you have 27 divided by 9/4. Can you make that into a multiplication? Yes, 27 divided by what? Multiplied by, what's the reciprocal of 9/4? Flip your numerator and denominator and you get 4/9. Simplifying 27 and 9, you can divide both of them by 9 to get 3 and 1. 3 times 9 is 27, 9 times 1 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12/1 is just 12. So how many tiles does he need to buy? 12 tiles. Okay. Wait a minute. I'm so sorry. I did not square my 4. 4 times 4 is what? 16. And so let's simplify again. So changing that into multiplication, 27 times 16/9 instead, which is going to be what? We can still simplify 27 and 9 by 3 and 1, but you multiply 3 times 16 to get 48 tiles. Okay, so that's really 48 tiles. Okay, should be right. All right, to summarize our lesson, evaluating algebraic expressions, you use substitution to replace a variable with its numerical value. Then you're going to use the order of operations to simplify. Right? That was lesson 3.5, evaluating algebraic expressions.